simple actually, but I figured we'd do it anyway because we've done it on the Mazda. So we're going to service the engine oil and the FRS tonight, but the actual thing that we're really going to be doing is installing the Fumoto quick drain valve to do away with the actual drain plug in the oil pan. So we're going to actually be putting this in, and it's due for a service anyway, so figure we might as well wrap them up into the same thing. And I actually got the locking clip as well, and I got all of it from the GT86 Speed Factory website. So they're an awesome bunch of people and great service, great products, and I like that they give me Laffy Taffy when I buy stuff from them, so it makes me feel better as a person. So we're going to go ahead and jack the car up in the air, and we will come back as soon as that is completed. And there we go. So let's get under the car, pull the drain plug out, and let the oil start draining. The car has not been running, so should have all the oil down at the bottom. It has come to my attention fairly recently that people who work on their cars still haven't learned this little piece of information yet. You can't check the oil properly if the engine has just been running, because then you get oil all up in the top of the engine and it's not going to read correctly on the dipstick. It is always best to do things like this with it cold. If you can't do that, okay, it is best to let it sit for a few minutes and let the hot oil drain back down. But the worst time to change your oil, or I guess more specifically check your oil, is to start it up after it's been cold, run it for 2 minutes, and then shut it off again. The oil did not get hot enough to get thin so it can get back down to the oil pan good, and you will have the least accurate reading on your oil level. So now that I am back off that soapbox, let's get started. Okay, so you can keep oriented with yourself. This is the driver's side, this is the passenger side. Back of the car, front of the car is this way. So here's the drain plug. It's a 14 millimeter. Hopefully, God willing, my almost destroyed ratchet will hold itself together here. And I hope to God the previous owner did not put this in too tight. And it is way too tight. It's supposed to be 18 pounds. Oh, let me go get a bigger ratchet. Okay, let's try this again. And hope to God it doesn't strip out the freaking drain plug. Oh, there it went. Way too tight. But it's loose, so move miscellaneous crap out of the way. Empty drain bowl that I had to drain. And try not to get oil all over the light and cause a massive explosion, like I'm currently doing. And my rag is just out of reach. Okay, well, you get the gist. Most of the oil has now drained out. I still have a slow trickle, but in the interest of I don't feel like waiting till every single drop ends, we're going to get started here on this. Now, all it says to do is thread it in there. They recommend going hand tight, which is right about there. Hand tight, and then it's 19 millimeters to fit this. And when you tighten it, you want to tighten it on the body here. So don't grab a hold of it up here and try to tighten it. You want to get the body of the valve to tighten it. So we can go ahead and put this down about 18 pounds. If you don't have a torque wrench, you want to go hand tight, and then between an 1/8 and a 1/4 turn more. It's approximately 18 pounds. Definitely don't go more than that. And since this is a semi-permanent thing that we're doing here, so we never have to take this out again, I would check it periodically just to make sure it stays about the same. When you get the car up in the air, or next time you check the oil, I just make sure it stays that way. And really quickly, while we've got it up here, we're going to take the clip off. Carefully, I don't want to drop it in my vat of oil I have under here now. And then to open the valve, you pull the spring up, and then you just rotate it. That's all there is to it, really. Gonna be much simpler job to be changing the oil in it. So put the clip back on here. There we go. So let me tighten this down. We'll go up top, and we will go ahead and put the oil in it and keep going from there. Side note for the groupies, this hex around here is 17 millimeter, and you can use a socket on it to torque it down. So I don't know why they didn't say you could do that, and they said to put a 19 millimeter on the body, but I snugged it with here, and I just took standard torque wrench and torqued it down with the hex. It's on here. It's part of the body. Seemed right to me, so I'm sure y'all will let me know if that's wrong, but it worked for me, so there you go. So most oil filters, and if you've watched any of my other service videos, I never put a filter on more than hand tight. I put it on as tight as I can twist it with my hand. If you've got smaller hands or weaker hands, bad thumbs, whatever, maybe just a slight turn with a filter wrench, but definitely don't over tighten it. They get tighter with heat cycles, and the longer they've been on there, the tighter they get. So for the modded people that want a little bit more performance, I actually suggest you get the Subaru Oil Filter. And I've read from my friend's cousin, sister's dad's stepkid, and his brother said that his best friend put the Subaru Oil Filter on his, and he gained 3.5 to 4 3/16, 8/4 horsepower. So I highly suggest that if you're into a free, easy way to get some extra horsepowers, and you might grab a couple of torque or two. This is sarcasm, by the way. Please don't rip me in the comments. And this is the oil that I use. Seriousness, most people suggest this. It's supposed to be the best that there is for these engines. So that's what we're putting in it. I don't want to scatter the engine or anything because I do run it hard most of the time. So that's pretty much it for this. Be sure to check your oil levels. It's supposed to be around 5 quarts or something. I think I used 5.1 or 5.2 or something like that to completely drain the engine and change the filter. So just be sure you put 4.5 quarts in it, start pulling the stick and check it and watch it and see how it goes. So that's pretty much it. As usual, any kind of engine service is very simple, and be sure to check for leaks when you get done, especially since we changed that oil valve under there. You don't want any drips or leaks and run down the road and lose all your oil and lock the engine up. So that's all there is to it for this one. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here for more Rage Fuel content. We'll see you next time.